Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, we have gone through the initial discussion about query processing and what are the steps for that, and along with the measures or the parameters which we are supposed to consider in query processing. We'll continue our discussion over the same, and today we'll see how the different operations which we are performing, like selection, join, sorting, are handled with the help of query processing, and also we'll see few aspects regarding the optimization of query. So let us start our discussion with that, and the first operation which we are going to see is selection operation. This selection operation is basically used for locating or retrieving a particular record which will fulfill the condition which we are specifying with the selection operation. So ultimately in that what we need is the scanning of file. When we talk about scanning of file, basically there are two types of scanning for searching, are the linear search and binary search. I think I know that you are well aware about the linear and binary search, but we'll give a different perspective to that. When I talk about the algorithm linear search, which is here now referred as A1, we'll scan each file block and test all records to see whether they satisfy the selection condition or not. We will scan the entire file. So the cost will be very simple. As we need to scan all the blocks, the cost estimate will be number of blocks scanned. And in case if the selection is on key attribute, it will be half. In most of the cases it will be an average case, so where we'll stop once we find the record. So that is there. So it's very simple that the linear search will cost you, selection operation on linear search with linear search will cost you uh, the number of total blocks which you are scanning. Here this linear search is not bothering about the selection condition, not bothering about the order of records in the file, or even it doesn't take help of any indices if are there. So this is very a rough idea of searching a file. Most of the cases will go for the binary search, which is named as A2 here. See, it is applicable if the selection is an equality comparison on the attribute on which file is ordered. That is important. On which file is ordered means on which the file is indexed, or in simple language we can say the primary key, on the primary key. So assume that the block of a relation are stored contiguously, that our assumption is, and so your cost estimate will be, we'll have to consider the first cost of locating the first tuple by a binary search on the blocks, then number of blocks that will satisfy the selection, and number of blocks that these records will occupy. So on an average, with the formula which is given here, we can find out the or estimate the cost of binary search. Definitely in compared to linear search, the cost of binary search will be lesser. How? With an example we can go for it. Let us understand the statistical information of this. If let us say that we have 20 tuples of account fit in one block, so block size is 20 tuples, and we have say 50 branches for the account, and with the balance and account we have 500 entries. This is just an assumption we are doing, and let us say that 10,000 accounts are there, or 10,000 tuples in the account relation. The next assumptions are the primary index is branch name, and secondary index is the balance. So with this statistical information, let us try to understand how this will work. See here now, number of blocks is 500, 10,000 tuples in the relation, so each block hold 20 tuples, so it will be we are going to find out that what will be branches are 50. So 10,000 by 50, 200 tuples in the account relation per 10 per each branch. On an average we are talking about. So 200 tuples will be 20 tuples each block, so 10 blocks for this tuple. This is happening in binary search. And the binary search, to find the first record, it would take log to the base to 500. 500 is what is 500? Is the number of tuples in the account relation. So there will be 9 block accesses on an average. The log 500 to the base 2. So the total cost of binary will be 9 plus 10 minus 1 will be 18 block accesses, whereas we could have gone for 500 accesses in the linear scan. So this is the difference. So you can see the difference, that 500 scans and only 18 scans, a huge difference between this. This way we can estimate the cost of selection operation. The other important operation which we actually do is the sorting. Sorting is most important because all the indices, all the files will be sorted over one or the other key. As you know that in binary search also we need to store the file in searching or sorted order, then only it will be easy for us to search. So we may build an index on a relation and then use that index to read the relation in the sorted order. May lead to one disk block access each tuple. So this makes the job easy. You find out a key from the index value, go to that particular address and scan that block only. So if we have 10 tuples to go for, we need to have access to 10 blocks only. We need not to go to each tuple or each record. For relations that fit in memory, techniques like quicksort can be used, and for relations which don't fit in memory, the external merge sort is a good choice. So I hope you remember the quicksort and merge sort things. Just to recall it once, see the merge sort. Firstly, you can see the first is unsorted initial relation. Then we are dividing it into 4 smaller relations which will be individually um, sorted, and then we are searching them into 2 and eventually we are getting the sorted output. So this is just overview of merge sort which can be used for uh, so this, why we are saying that this will be useful in the relations which are not fitting into memory, because we are splitting that into smaller pieces and the sorting job will be easier, or will be applicable on a smaller unit. So number of comparisons will be lesser, number of buffers will be lesser, and eventually the calculation will be faster. So this is the example which is given for it. So let us say that M denotes the memory size in pages. So if we start with number of runs and let us start from 0, repeatedly we will do the following till the end of relation. Read M blocks from the relation into memory, sort in memory blocks and write the sorted data to the run Ri, increment Ri. See here. So here we are having in the second diagram the runs where we are creating the runs. In the second phase you can see that there are smaller memory blocks on which we can very easily perform the sort operation. This is what is said in the step 1. Now merge these runs. Suppose for now I is lesser than M. So what is M? M is the total memory size in pages. Then in a single merge step, use I blocks of memory to buffer input runs and 1 block to buffer the output. So input and output will be the sorted one. Repeatedly do the following until all the input buffer pages are empty. So we will go on sorting the smaller buffer areas and put it into the output block, which will be eventually placed in the final output. So select the first record in the sort order from each of the buffer, write the record to the output, delete the record from the buffer page. So this way we are saving the utilization of buffer also and getting the sorting job done. So if the problem will be there if we have I is greater than M, several merge passes will be needed. So in which each pass contiguous group of M minus 1 run are merged, a pass reduces the number of runs by a factor M minus 1 and creates run longer by the same factor. Repeated passes are performed till the runs have been merged into one. Definitely this is going to take little more time, but of course will be faster than the other sorting techniques. Okay. So the cost analysis for this can be done as this accesses for initial run creation as well as in each pass is 2 BR. BR is the blocks in the relation, because every time the block will be accessed twice, one for the non-sorting one, then for the sorting one. So total number of merge passes required will be are given in the formula. So thus this is the total number of disk accesses for the external sorting. So here is what about the sorting operations processing. Input and output will be the sorted one. Repeatedly do the following until all the input buffer pages are empty. So we will go on sorting the smaller buffer areas and put it into the output block, which will be eventually placed in the final output. So select the first record in the sort order from each of the buffer, write the record to the output, delete the record from the buffer page. So this way we are saving the utilization of buffer also and getting the sorting job done. So if the problem will be there if we have I is greater than m, several merge passes will be needed. So in which each pass contiguous group of m minus 1 run are merged, a pass reduces the number of runs by a factor m minus 1 and creates run longer by the same factor. Repeated passes are performed till the runs have been merged into one. Definitely this is going to take little more time, but of course will be faster than the other sorting techniques. Okay. So the cost analysis for this can be done as this accesses for initial run creation as well as in each pass is 2 BR. BR is the blocks in the relation, because every time the block will be accessed twice, one for the non-sorting one, then for the sorting one. So total number of merge passes required will be are given in the formula. So thus this is the total number of disk accesses for the external sorting. So here is what about the sorting operations processing. Next comes the join operation. There are different join operations which can be performed. If you remember, there is a join operation joins two relations together, and on which we may impose a equality condition, that is in our hands. But whatever the types we have seen in SQL, these types are different than the previous one. So several different algorithms to implement the join are available. Nested loop join, block nested loop join, indexed nested loop join, merge join, and hash join. So choice is based on the cost estimate and join size estimates required particularly for a cost estimate for outer level operations in a relational algebra expression. What exactly is that? We will go for through some examples to understand this. So let us go through this example where we are trying to join depositor with customer. So let us say that number of tuples in customer are 10,000 and the size is 25. So each block is going to the number of blocks in the customer will be 400. 10,000 divided by 25. Number of depositors, say customers, can be depositor or a borrower. So in that case we are assuming that number of depositor will be half the number of total customers, that is 5,000. So f of depositor we are taking as 5. So block size will be in the depositor table, block size will be number of blocks will be 100, 5,000 by 50. So if I am pairing customer name with depositor, it is going to be 2500, which implies that on average each customer has two accounts. So if we are just multiplying 50 with 25, we are going to get 1250, and if each customer is having two accounts, so then it will be 2500 size block. So we assume that customer name in the depositor is a foreign key on customer. So thus we are joining the joining the two relations. This is just an example to quote how the join is done. We'll go for how this join can be optimized in the further discussion. Now let us come to the evaluation of expression. The expression can be evaluated in two ways. One is materialization and another is pipelining. This is dependent on, these types are dependent on the way uh, in which we are executing the instructions. So in materialization, we evaluate one operation at a time, starting at the lowest level, as you can see in this diagram, from account, and then the higher level. Use intermediate results materialized into the temporary relation to evaluate the next level operation. Like here, the account is retrieved first, then we are finding out all the balances which are lesser than 2500. All the tuples who are satisfying this condition out of account will be taken out. That temporary output will be joined with the customer relation, and then we are projecting the customer, which will give you the name of customer who have an account with balance lesser than 2500. So here you can see the sigma balance lesser than 2500 is actually the condition which is imposed, but now it is taken as the temporary relation to join with customer. Okay, and when I talk about pipelining, it is it evaluates the several operations simultaneously, passing the result of one operation to the next. Here we are finding out the parallel operations. So in the expression of the previous slide, don't store the result of that sigma operation, instead pass the tuples directly to the join. Similarly, don't store the result of join, pass the tuples directly to the projection, it is saying. So here you can, instead of storing the temporary results, just make it the part of project operation directly, which will be much cheaper than materialization and no need to store any relations on the disk. So buffer space is eventually saved. So the pipelining may always not be possible. This is true. If sorting is there, we need to operate one by one, or hash, we need to generate the addresses one by one. So for pipelining to be effective, use evaluation algorithm that generate output tuples even as tuples are received from for input to the operation. So then only it will be successful. Otherwise, in most of the cases, we go for materialization. Pipelines can be executed in two ways, demand driven or procedure driven. So this is about the evaluation of expression. As we discuss the evaluation of expression, we need to actually transform this expression into efficient plans through the equivalence rules. So how we can do that, that we'll see. Actually, this need to be listened carefully because this is little logical to understand. So generation of a query evaluation plan for an expression involves two steps. We just find out the logically equivalent expressions so that lesser number of operations can be performed, and annotating the resultant expression to get an alternative query plan. So we can it can be broken into smaller expressions so that alternative query plans can be generated. So you can there are listed out equivalence rules to transform an expression into an equivalent one that we can follow, and based on the estimated cost, the cheapest plan can be selected. The process is called as cost based optimization. So let us go through few examples how it can be done. Let us see this example where relations generated by two equivalent expressions have same set of attributes and contain same set of tuples, although their attributes may be ordered differently. Let us see the diagram on left side. where account and depositor are joined together, that output is joined with branch. So account, depositor and branch, three relations are brought together or joined together, forming a huge buffer table or intermediate table, and on which the condition branch city equal to Brooklyn is posted. So we need to operate this selection operation on all the tuples on the intermediate result of combining branch, account and depositor. Once that selection operation is performed, then finally we are going to print all the customers out of it. So this is little bigger intermediate result which we are going to produce. So let us see the diagram on right side, where we are transforming the same expression which will give you the same output in a different way. Now of course account and depositor are joined together, but at the same moment I can apply, as branch city is appearing in only in branch city is appearing in branch, uh, I can apply a condition of branch city parallelly when we are performing the join operation on account and depositor. Thus this select branch city equal to Brooklyn is going to be a smaller table as compared to the branch table, and that if that table is joined, I'll get the exact output similar to the previous one. Here you can see in the left side we have 4 hierarchical levels, whereas in the right side we have only 3. So thus we can produce an equivalent expression which will reduce the output, or of course time and resources all can be saved. So here are the equivalence rules. There are 10 to 12 equivalence rules which are self understandable. So I expect that you will go through that. I'll move on these slides. So the first 4, again the theta join operation, natural join operation, how can be they make equivalent to each other. The selection operation, how it can be made equivalent. We have some rules for projection operation also. It is also there for set operations. So these are the different equivalence rules. You please go through this. I am not going to explain, they are self-explanatory. Let us see this another equivalence expression example. So find the names of all customers who have an account at some branch located in Brooklyn. So here we are again doing the same thing. So the branch, depositor and account are joined together. On the whole join, the branch city equal to Brooklyn is posted. That selection operation or that condition is posted, and out of which only customer names are taken out. Here instead in the second operation we are performing selection operation only on branch, which will lead to a smaller output which is multiplied with account and depositor. So these are two equivalent expressions. Similar things can be done in this expression also. I will not repeat this, you can go through this and it is quite self-explanatory. Similarly, for project operation also we can perform these kind of things. So I'll also expect you to go through this. Again, join can also be rearranged, or some conditions can be imposed implicitly, so that lesser number of tuples will be joined with each other. Ultimately, join is a Cartesian product. So first Cartesian product is formed, and then we are going to impose the equality condition. So again the intermediate result in join will be bigger. So if we are imposing a condition before joining, then it can reduce the number of tuples which will be multiplied with each other. So thus join can also be formed in a smaller operation.